Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being so patient. It's wonderful to see so many members of our community joining us this evening for our 2022 Meet the Candidates event for the Lawndale Elementary School Board, presented by Lawndale Council of PTAs. We sincerely appreciate all the candidates who were able to attend tonight. My name is Brandon Church, and I am pleased to serve as your moderator this evening. I am joined by a number of other PTA members representing various schools across Lawndale, without whom an event like this would not be possible. This is a group effort, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of them for their time and support. Before we begin, a bit of background. The Lawndale Council of PTAs is a nonpartisan organization, which neither supports nor opposes any political party or candidate. This includes any candidate running for local school board elections. The LCPTA does not and will not endorse any candidate running for a seat on Lawndale Elementary School Board. Our hope is that everyone leaves here feeling a bit more familiar with each candidate and a bit more familiar with the educational concerns that exist within our community. For those who may not know, the Lawndale Elementary School Board is divided into 5 trustee areas for elections. The image on your screen details how the trustee areas are spread across Lawndale. Both candidates joining us this evening are running for Trustee Area 2, which includes the schools Smith, Mitchell, and Adams. Those candidates are Miss Shirley Rudolph and Mr. Angel Sanchez. Once we begin, each of them will have an opportunity to introduce themselves during their opening statements. Now, I know you are all eager to hear from our candidates, so let's go over the rules for tonight. All questions presented to the candidates were submitted by the community via email and organized by our questions committee. The flow of questions will be moderated and timed, allowing each candidate 60 seconds to respond per question. Opening and closing statements will also be timed. Opening statements will be limited to 2 minutes, while closing remarks will have a 90-second time limit. A timer will be on screen at all times to allow the candidates to keep track. We will alternate first responses with each new question so that everyone will have an opportunity to go first. We will do our best to get through as many diverse topics as possible during our time frame. And with that, we are ready to begin. All right, everyone should be able to see both candidates now. Ms. Rudolph, you may turn on your camera now. There we go. All right, so we're going to begin. And the first question will go to you, Ms. Rudolph. Question number 1. What specific skills or talents do you have that you believe are transferable to the school district?
Okay. I didn't get a chance to answer. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Yes, I've been on the school board now for 30 years, but that doesn't include all the things I've done for children. I've dedicated my life to children. I started with Lawndale Little League in 1969, and I've continued on with the Kiwanis Club of Lawndale, the Lawndale High School Key Club, and I moved on to school. I got elected in school board in 1991. And I think I've added a lot of new things and new ideas with the help of my colleagues. Of course, it takes 3 votes for anything. But yeah, I think my love of children and my education, I graduated Lawndale High School with honors. And I went through all the Lawndale schools. And I've been here since 1952. So I've been here for a long time. And yeah, I think those are the skills. I think the love for children has a lot to do with teaching children. They learn from someone that cares about them, and you take more time with them when you care more. Okay.
Thank you. Angel, I will let you respond, but afterwards, I forgot to allow you guys to do your opening statements. So Angel, you may respond to this question and then we will go back to that.
Should I turn my,
Okay, thank you. So skills that I have that will allow me to assist on the board. So that would be, I've been an employee of Lawndale for about, or I was an employee of Lawndale, I'm not anymore, for about 7 years. 4 of those years were spent as an instructional assistant, working directly with students and teachers. And 3 of those years were spent in the district office, working in the accounting department. So I've spent a lot of time, my entire adult life, I would say, working in this district and really immersing myself with everything that goes on, whether it be in schools or in the district office. I've made it a goal of mine to really understand everything that goes into accounting for the district. So that means learning all about education code, labor laws, labor relations, anything and everything that is involved with district accounting and more specifically district payroll. I am currently, or I have a bachelor's degree in mathematics, and I am currently on my last semester of obtaining my master's degree in public administration. And I'm excited to be able to use all these skills to hopefully propel this district into newer and better things. Yeah.
Thank you both. I apologize. I completely blew past the opening statement. We can go back if you guys would like to read something, if you had it prepared. Otherwise, we can continue. What would you prefer? Ms. Rudolph, Mr. Sanchez?
yes, I have a statement
All right, Ms. Rudolph.
because I don't know what question is going to be asked.
Of course, you have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
And Maria said they wanted to know about me personally. So I just want to say hi, everyone that's out there that I can't scan and can't see. I'm Shirley Rudolph, running for re-election to the Lawndale Elementary School Board of Trustees, Area 2. I'm the incumbent with 30+ years of service and experience. I moved to Lawndale in the 50s, graduated from Anderson, Rogers, and Lusinger High School. I fell in love with Lawndale and my Lawndalian husband, and I'm still here. We raised our 3 sons here, and they all attended and graduated from Lawndale schools. My late husband, Larry, and I elevated and devoted most of our lives to the Lawndale community, and especially to the Lawndale children and young adults. Lawndale Little League, baseball, Kiwanis, Farmers Market, Lawndale High School Key Club, and the Lawndale Park and Rec Commission. So that almost everything I do is connected with children. And like I said, Lawndale is, I'll never leave here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. Mr. Sanchez, you have 2 minutes as well.
Yeah, so I was born and raised here in Lawndale. I attended school at Lawndale Elementary School District for grades pre-K through 6. I was at Bailey Mitchell, and then I attended Jane Addams for the remainder of that time. My parents immigrated here from Mexico, and I was lucky enough to be the first child that they raised here in Lawndale, and we have been here ever since. I've already told you all about my professional experience here at the district, so I won't bore you again with that. But my entire life has been centered around this district, and I have learned a lot and I've grown a lot from it. And if you go online to the Lawndale, to the LESD website, you'll see that one of their goals is that they strive to prepare and propel their students to become tomorrow's leaders. And as a student, that's what I'm here trying to become, and trying to show that this district has prepared me to hopefully help lead these students and the staff on the board, and help them better themselves and progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. All right, we will move on to the next question. And Angel, this will go to you first. Many families leave Lawndale Elementary School District after elementary school. Do you believe the district is doing enough to retain students? Why or why not?
It's a really good question, but it's a tough question because it has to do more with the economics that we're currently living in. It's very difficult to afford housing here in Lawndale. It's difficult to raise children here. So a lot of parents see that everything is, costs are rising tremendously. So it's almost or nearly impossible for someone my age, someone growing up here, to be able to afford housing on their own. And so is this district doing enough to help students overcome that? And I feel like they're not, mostly because I am an example of it. I cannot afford housing on my own in Lawndale. I went to college, I have a master's degree, and I still have to work 2 jobs to be able to, pay for rent, pay for a car, pay for utilities. So I feel like a lot of the economic issues can't solely be fixed by a school district, but can definitely be helped by it.
I'm afraid you have reached time. I wanted to let you complete your thought. Ms. Rudolph, the same question for you. I can read it again if you would like. You are still muted, Ms. Rudolph. Still muted.
Mute.
There you are. I can hear you now.
Okay. Wow, I'm on the front page of my computer. I don't know what, it just went blank. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Would you like me to read the question again?
Yes, could you please?
The question is, many families leave Lawndale Elementary School District after elementary school. Do you believe the district is doing enough to retain students? Why or why not? You have 1 minute.
That is a good question. And it's hard, it's a little hard to answer because the economy, I have several friends and family that have moved out of state because they can't afford Lawndale anymore. They've even sold their houses here because the Lawndale houses are selling for huge amounts. So they can go to another state and buy a big house and have money left over. So I think that has a lot to do with them leaving. And I don't think it has anything to do with our school district, because I have faith that we have fantastic employees on all levels throughout the whole school district that would retain our students, because they get, we do the best. I think we do the best. I'm proud of our district. And I think is that my time?
You still have 15 seconds.
Oh, okay. That's all I can think of, just they can't afford it here. Lawndale has really gone up on rent. And then, of course, the gas and all the economy stuff is really making it hard for people to survive.
Thank you very much. That is time. All right, we will move on to the next question. And I'll start with you, Ms. Rudolph.
Okay.
Most districts in the surrounding areas offer a second language as an elective, but LESD does not. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's a question I hadn't thought about, other than we do have our dual immersion program. It may not be called a elective, but we have dual immersion in kindergarten and first grade through 8th grade at 3 different schools. And that's where where Spanish speakers learn English. We have English learners, English learner language. We have, trying to think, we have quite a few things, even for parents to learn English. So I don't know. I'm not sure what the second language in Lawndale School District, I'm not sure what they would select to have be second language, but we are taking care of a lot of our Spanish and Hispanic students and parents.
Thank you very much. Angel, the same question for you.
Would you mind repeating the question one more time for me?
Not a problem.
Thank you.
The question is, most districts in the surrounding areas offer a second language as an elective, but Lawndale Elementary School District does not. What are your thoughts on that? 1 minute.
So I believe it's somewhere around 43% of our students that come into Lawndale already being exposed to a second language. Now that language, the majority I'm assuming is Spanish, but we are heavily diverse with, Vietnamese, and I believe it's Arabic languages. So we have a very diverse set of students that are already coming into our classrooms knowing this. So it's very important that we develop these skills and help them improve on these languages. So we do offer dual immersion programs, but it would benefit them immensely to offer different courses, different electives, or different avenues to learn more than just Spanish, to develop other languages such as the ones they're already learning at home, Vietnamese, Arabic, or even French, ASL.
That is time, sir.
Of course.
Thank you very much for the response. Next up, we will begin with you, Angel. Shirley. Identify one area you feel is lacking in our schools that you would address if elected to the school board. 1 minute.
So the biggest area that I see as lacking currently is staffing. So we are currently seeing nationwide, and it's really starting to affect our district, a shortage in staff. This is teachers, RAP employees, student supervision assistants, and instructional assistants. And this is affecting our students immensely. They are seeing, or teachers are seeing their work being doubled, or classified staff are seeing their work doubled or tripled. They're being sort of suffocated by and overworked, and it's causing them to lose motivation, which ultimately affects our students. So this is one area that I would focus on if I were elected to school board.
Thank you. Ms. Rudolph.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes, the question is, identify one area you feel is lacking in our schools that you would address if elected to the school board.
It's true that about staff, but also I think main thing I would concentrate on is our students. During the pandemic, they had a lot of learning loss. And I would want to work harder to get these students back on key and get the test scores up to where they belong, because we're lacking in getting our students ready and moving them up to where they should be. Although we've added TOSAs to every school, we've added social workers and people that really help with our students, and PBIS students or PBIS teachers. So we have a lot of things that we've done for them, but we could always do more. And we've just got to figure some way to get those students back on board and back up to the level that they should be, and get the test scores up for us, for the whole district. So that's what I would concentrate on: test scores and students learning, and they're retaining back what they lost.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rudolph. All right, we will move on to the next question, and I will begin with you, Ms. Rudolph.
Okay.
School shootings have been happening all over the country. What would you do to keep our children safe from shooters or intruders while on campus?
Wow. That's a loaded question. But I think a lot of it is teaching. We just have to teach these students to be safe, how to react, the teachers to lock the rooms, and maybe even, well, we need to lock all the gates, have buzzing in for parents, some kind of a warning system that would tell us we have a stranger on campus that should not be there. And maybe even a police officer. I don't know if that would be possible or not, but we need to do everything and anything that we can do to protect our children. Because it's happening too often in different cities. Thank God it hasn't happened here, but we never know. It's always a chance. So we do definitely have to be safe and be diligent and make sure that we do everything we can do to protect our children.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. Mr. Sanchez, the same question to you.
Yeah, so this one mostly goes to just taking proactive measures. You never want to be reactive in a situation like this. So a lot of it comes down to just making sure that we are up to date with all our security systems. I know a lot of our neighboring districts are using apps currently. So there's applications that parents, teachers, the community can download in order to be notified immediately of any sort of dangerous situation. We can update our locks, our security systems for our office managers. Again, like Ms. Rudolph said, buzz in parents, but do that for all gates and just keeping up to date with all our surveillance systems, make sure we're diligent, but most of all, working as a community to alert each other and be informed about possible dangers in the community.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Before we move on, would it make it easier for both of you if I were to raise my hand at the 30-second mark so that you know how much time might be remaining?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I will do that moving forward. Unfortunately, the timer wasn't working properly, so I'll do that for you guys.
I can't see, my computer's acting up, so I don't see the timer on mine.
Yeah, we removed the timer. It wasn't working properly. So I'll just raise my hand at the 30-second mark so that you guys will know when you're getting close to time. All right, we'll move on to the next question. Beginning with you, Angel, Mr. Sanchez. With the exception of COVID-19, what do you believe has been the greatest challenge for the school board in the last 3 years, and how would you solve it?
Greatest challenge, I believe, would be getting parents, teachers, and staff involved in important decisions that ultimately affect the students. And to solve this, there's a lot of different ways, but I believe a school board trustee, their job is to be the bridge between the community and management of the district. And in order to get more parents involved, or just to get a conversation going between school board trustees, parents, and teachers, staff, it's important to have different avenues of communication other than just the normal email or phone call. Again, applications, apps are coming in today, and they're very useful. We can hold something sort of like office hours where board members have specific times where you can go visit and discuss issues you're having or concerns you might have directly with them.
That is time, sir. Thank you. Ms. Rudolph, the same question to you.
Can you repeat it again, please?
Yes. With the exception of COVID-19, what do you believe has been the greatest challenge for the school board in the last 3 years, and how would you solve it?
I'm not exactly sure if it's a school board challenge, but my thing is getting back to the parents and the community. Even this year, we had a problem getting enough parents to do our PTAs for every school. And one school doesn't have a PTA. And it can really hurt a district or hurt Little League program, any kind of program you have where students or children and parents are involved. It really affects the outcome if you don't have parental involvement. So we need to get more parental involvement and more PTA sponsorships. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. The next question, beginning with you, Ms. Rudolph, is bullying has been an issue at a number of schools within the district. If elected, what would you do to address this?
I think our new superintendent, Virginia Castro, would be the one that would address this. And she would have meetings with the principals and the teachers so that everyone is aware of what is going on. Sometimes bullying gets hidden. The students don't tell, and the teacher can't see everything. So I think if they could get everyone involved, have everybody be on the alert to watch for it happening, it could maybe stop. But it needs to be taken care of immediately. It can't be, you can't let it go, because that just hurts. It hurts mainly the children that's being bullied, and the other child is not helping them out either. So we need to make sure that our children are healthy mentally and psychologically, and that's part of not being bullied or bullying. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. Mr. Sanchez?
Yeah, so this is, again, this relates to the issue we're having where parents, communication between the school board and parents, and really training our staff to acknowledge and really take consideration parents' concerns. So if a parent brings an issue to you, as a staff member or maybe a principal, I've had experience with this. Oftentimes it might just be brushed off, or they don't think it's a major issue. And we have to start training our staff or training our management staff to really take these things seriously and to try and find the source of the problem and do their best to solve it. And really just sensitivity training, making sure all our staff are aware and taking these issues seriously.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Let's move on to the next question. In your view, what sorts of topics might not be appropriate for discussion in schools without parental permission? We'll begin with you, Mr. Sanchez.
Yeah, of course. So these mostly, these topics usually are around sex education. And it's always important to make sure that parents are comfortable with a public school system teaching what their curriculum might have to their students. Because a lot of time parents might not think that the student's age is, or they're at the right age to learn about this, or parents might want to have those conversations with their student on their own. So it's very important for topics of that sort that our school district really makes sure that parental permission is required before we begin teaching any sort of sexual education.
Thank you. Ms. Rudolph.
Yes, sexual education is definitely one of them, but also the thing about drugs that's in our schools, and it's really getting bad right now. Students are dying from fentanyl. And we used to have a program from the sheriff department that would go into the schools. We had a resource deputy that would go in every school, and they taught drug safety. So that would be a good thing to be, make the kids be safe. If they know about drugs, they know what they can do. I think the children are smart enough that they're not going to use drugs. And I think the parents would agree to have it done. I know they'd agree with the sex education. And I'm just hoping that they help us keep their children safe.
Thank you. Next question. Currently, what do you see as the largest concerns for both classified and certificated staff? And if elected, what would you do to address them? Ms. Rudolph, you can begin.
Wow. Could you repeat that again, please? That's a really good question, but I want to digest it for a second.
Absolutely. Currently, what do you see as the largest concerns for both classified and certificated staff? And if elected, what would you do to address them?
I think right now the main thing with both classified and certificated is the amount of employees. We're short. We don't have enough employees to cover a lot of the things, and a lot of them are doing double duty. So I think that would be I'm not sure exactly how I could help do it because I'm not the HR person, but, and different people do their own jobs. And the school board we don't do every single thing in the district. We only get wind of it. At the end of it, we vote. But, yeah, I think if I could do it, I would help get people hired and fill all the positions so no one would have to overwork. You did say if I could possibly do it, right? It was a
Yes, that was the
possibility.
question.
Yeah, okay. If it was a possibility, I would do everything I could do to make sure they have enough help that no one has to overwork.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. Mr. Sanchez.
Mind repeating the question one more time, please? Thank you.
Absolutely. Currently, what do you see as the largest concerns for both classified and certificated staff? If elected, what would you do to address them?
So again, I think Ms. Rudolph mentioned shortages, but it's important here to look at why we have shortages in employees. Our classified staff and our certificated staff are currently overworked. But besides that, we're not offering classified staff benefits. We're not offering them appropriate pay for the double work they're doing. The same goes for teachers. We're not offering them extra duty hours for extra time they're putting in. And we're not offering them any sort of extra pay for the increase in duties they have, independent study being one of them. So it's important that we start appreciating our staff, paying them what they deserve, paying them benefits, giving them everything we possibly can in terms of support to motivate them. And this will ultimately trickle down to our students. We have the funds for it, and we should be doing it as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. The next question. Why do you believe Lawndale's reserve is high compared to what the state asks us to keep in reserves? What would you do with this money? Mr. Sanchez.
So since 2016, we've been getting the same reasons for why we have excessive reserves. That is protection against declining enrollment, protection against litigation, protection against fluctuating state funding. Why we've been getting that same reason since 2016, I honestly don't know, but we are still receiving that same reason today, where we have $27 million in reserves, and that is 10 times the amount that we should have. And what we should be doing with this money is, again, we're having a huge issue with staffing, where our staff isn't being appropriately compensated. Our classified staff doesn't have benefits. Our teachers are being inundated with extra work because we can't hire teachers. Even using $10 million of these funds would still leave us ultimately with 20 million by next year. So only using a portion of these funds can help us relieve a lot of the issues we're having.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Rudolph.
Could you repeat it, please?
Absolutely. The question is, why do you believe Lawndale's reserve is high compared to what the state asks us to keep in reserves? What would you do with this money?
Well, I believe that it's high because of the pandemic. We had one-time funds that came to us, and I don't know if they've been used yet or not. I'm not in the accounting department, so I don't have that advantage. And I'm not I don't do the budget. I don't do all of that figuring out things that which board members don't typically do that anyway. But we have to keep the money, and we have to plan for 2 years ahead. We can't plan for 1 year like right now. Use every dime that we have, empty our bank, and then next year we don't have anything, because we never know if the governor's going to keep his promise or not when he says he's going to give the school money. That's came up before, and we haven't received it. So, but I would use the money to benefit the children, which we've been doing all along anyway.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. The next question. Do you believe the district is doing enough to meet the needs of GATE students? We will begin with you, Ms. Rudolph.
My granddaughter was in GATE and she really benefited from it. She graduated from Lawndale High with a 4.3 GPA. And she credited that with being in GATE. She was in GATE for quite a while at Mark Twain. But I'm not sure because I'm not in the classroom with the GATE students. And these students are so bright. So I'm sure any teacher that's there, they know how to make these students better. A GATE teacher is going to know exactly how to motivate these students and do the right thing. We have great teachers. Our teachers are going to do right by our students, and I believe our students are being taken care of the way they should be. So I think they're going to excel in GATE or anything else that they're in. And that's thanks to our teacher, our LTA association, everybody working hard and making sure the students benefit from what they're doing.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. Next question. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Mr. Sanchez, you need to answer that question. I apologize.
No problem. Would you mind repeating it one more time for me?
No problem. The question is, do you believe the district is doing enough to meet the needs of GATE students?
That's a difficult question to answer, but ultimately I do not think they're doing enough to meet the needs of GATE students. And this mostly stems from us being so focused on meeting the needs of our socioeconomically disadvantaged students, our English learner students, our students that aren't performing as well in the classroom. We're always focused on decreasing the gap, the learning gap for these students, and we fail to help develop the learning for our GATE students. And this can come in many different forms. You know, we're currently have maker spaces in one of our schools. It'll also help all students because they can all benefit from any sort of technological advances or
That is time, sir.
of course.
Thank you. Next question. If elected, what would you do, if anything, to strengthen the after-school programs for all schools in LESD? Mr. Sanchez.
So the after-school programs, again, we're back to the same issue of staffing. RAP programs are suffering because they're not able to staff those programs. And this ultimately means there's less students that are allowed to join those programs. It's less students that can benefit from their services. And we're seeing a trend. We're having a big issue with staffing. And so it is very important that we begin using our resources, using our reserves if we need to fill these positions and help our students with, you know, a fully staffed program.
Thank you. Ms. Rudolph.
Yes, on our before and after school programs, they do a wonderful job with these students. They have a STEAM curriculum, coding and robotic clubs, homework assistance, and much, much more than that. And they do that with the staff that they have, but of course, they could use more staff. And I even brought up the suggestion at the last time that they did a presentation to the board a couple weeks ago, that maybe we could use the substitute teachers for the before and after school programs, because we have substitute teachers on waiting to get assignments. So maybe they could be assigned to the RAP program, which is not just after school, it's before and after school. So it's really a wonderful program for these kids. And it moves them into the 21st century, and they learn, plus they can catch up on their math, catch up on whatever they're behind on. So this is the RAP program is really helping a lot. It's the name of it's realizing amazing potential. And that makes the kids, you say that to them and they just beam with it. They love it. So our kids are excelling in there,
That is time, ma'am.
and they have full classes.
Thank you. That is time. Thank you very much. We will move on to the next question, and I will begin with you, Ms. Rudolph. What more can the district do to support our special education students?
The special ed, we have Miss Asman is our director for the SELPA program. And SELPA is for special ed students. And I know we have special devices for them to use, not just a normal computer like we do, because they can't comprehend sometimes a computer like we comprehend. And our students we're right now doing different things for our special ed students. And we made sure we got them back in school first. When we came back from the pandemic, they were the first students to go back on campus after the pandemic ended. Well, it didn't end, but when it lightened up and they could go back on campus, our special ed students were first. They were number one.
Thank you. Mr. Sanchez, same question to you.
Would you mind repeating the question, Mr. Church? Sorry.
No problem. The question is, what more can the district do to support our special education students?
Right. So we can begin by offering better training for our staff. So a lot of times our classified staff are left out of any sort of conversation when it comes to the students. So we need to make sure we're developing the skills of our classified staff, our instructional assistants to support our students, and allowing them time to discuss with the special education teacher so they're both on the same page and understanding of what the best route is to support the students. We can also benefit from different forms of curriculum. I know the district is currently very set on certain ways of how to teach these special needs children, but ultimately, who knows best on how to teach them is the teachers and the staff that are involved with those students. So offering different avenues of curriculum and different forms of teaching to make sure their needs are being met would be the best way to support them.
Thank you, sir. That is time. We are nearing the end, so we will do our final two questions. The first question, I will begin with you, Mr. Sanchez. What are your thoughts on a district-wide ethnic studies program?
I mean, I love the idea. So this goes hand in hand with culturally responsive teaching. You have critical race theory. That's a big thing going on right now. So an ethnic studies program that really allows students to understand their ethnic backgrounds, where they're coming from, how this relates to our society now, would really benefit them in understanding what is going to be like eventually when they move on to middle school, high school, and wherever they go to afterwards. So an ethnic studies program, culturally responsive teaching, is something that I feel would really benefit students and something we really need in our diverse community.
Thank you. Ms. Rudolph, same question to you.
Could you repeat that, please?
Yes. The question is, sorry, let me look for, I can't find it on the thing. What are your thoughts on a district-wide ethnic studies program?
I'm a strong believer that any kind of a study that's going to benefit our children is worth the effort. And ethnic studies to me sounds like a great idea. And we could even do some other different kinds of studies and make sure we just need to make sure that our students are taken care of. And especially we're in a very diverse school district. So I agree with any kind of ethnic thing that will make these students feel better and feel more comfortable at being there and being with other students. So I definitely agree that the ethnic study would be any kind of a study that would benefit our students in our school district I'm all for it.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. And the final question we will have this evening, we will begin with you. Please tell us what your plans would be to increase the district's math and English language arts test scores if elected.
We have TOSAs, which is Teachers on Special Assignment, and they specialize in math. And what was the other language, the other thing?
English language arts.
English language arts. We have an English language arts TOSA, and we also have a math TOSA. And I'm not sure, but I think we have one in each school. So these students are going to learn, and they should be hopefully catching up and getting their grades up and getting test scores up and doing a better. They have moved up some, according to a report that we got recently, a presentation. And with these TOSAs and the extra help that they have on campus, I really think these kids are going to succeed. And if we need to do more, we'll do more. You know, we'll do what we're doing. And if we can add to that, we find out something that works better or works in addition, we'll add to it. And we've always done that.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. Mr. Sanchez, same question to you.
So to increase the scores, we have to comfort zone, because we've seen a really big drop, especially in mathematics, but also in English language arts. So to solve this issue, it would be important to set up different avenues. We can begin having more hours for English, teach more hours for mathematics. We can offer small study groups. Our summer programs, we saw our summer programs increase this year, specifically because of that reason, to prevent the post-pandemic learning loss. So we need to really step up our programs for the summer to ensure that we're reaching those kids that really need the most assistance, and ensure that they're seeing the help or getting the help they need in these subjects.
Thank you, sir. All right, we only have so much time. So it's about the point where we start doing closing statements. As I let Ms. Rudolph begin, I will let you, Mr. Sanchez, do your closing statement. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds.
All right, so I really appreciate you all giving me the time to talk to everyone. And I just wanted to really drill in on the point that we are, as a school district, we have seen a lot of regression. And being a student there and having worked there, this is something that it really saddens me. And I want to see the school district progress, because I know we have the resources and we have the capability to help our students, help our staff, and get to the point where we want to be as a school district. And I really hope that I presented myself in a way that I'm really eager to help with this progression. I'm really eager to talk to parents to fully understand what our district needs and what our students need to progress. And I really hope that you're able to vote for me on this upcoming election. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Ms. Rudolph, you also have 1 minute and 30 seconds for your closing remarks.
Okay. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support and your giving me the honor of serving the Lawndale School District community for over 30 years. I want to say I've never taken money from anyone, including any organized labor group. I'm a free will person, and I will continue to do the best for our students. I'm proud to serve with a successful, stable team, and we have accomplished very many things for our school. PK all day, K all day, dual immersion kindergarten, dual immersion kindergarten through 1 through 8, RAP program, African American Committee. That's just to name a few. And we even survived the pandemic, which was an accomplishment. I have many ideas to present to the board. Get the test scores up, improve learning loss, social emotional students, social worker in all sites, TOSA every site, math and English arts, teachers on special assignment is who this is. And I really know that I have more ideas to help these students. I wouldn't have ran for reelection if I didn't have 4 more years to give to my students and my Lawndale family. And I really hope you give me the chance to do another 4 years and vote for me on November the 8th as your returning school board member. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rudolph. With that, we have met the end of our Meet the Candidates for this year. To all of those of you in the audience, thank you so much for your time and attention. If you have or submitted a question that was not asked or answered today, we encourage you to reach out to each of the candidates directly. I imagine they would be more than happy to address any of your questions or concerns. Also, if you would like additional ballot information, please visit votersedge.org/CA for details. Once again, I want to give a special thank you to the Lawndale Council PTA Forum Committee and all the volunteers who helped put this event together. You guys are absolutely amazing. And of course, we want to thank both candidates for participating tonight. It was wonderful to hear from you both, and we appreciate your willingness to serve our community. Best of luck to you both. Everyone have a wonderful night, and remember to go vote.